Have you noticed the weather? It seems different, more extreme. Heat waves are scorching the land while floods devastate coastal communities. Glaciers, once mighty rivers of ice, are shrinking at alarming rates. These are not isolated incidents. They are symptoms of a planet in distress. Our planet is sending us a message carried on the winds and written in the rising tides. This is the reality of climate change, a challenge that affects us all. But what exactly is climate change and how did we get here? Join me as we journey into the heart of this global issue, exploring its complexities, its history, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Together we can understand the science, dispel the myths, and empower ourselves to act. The future of our planet depends on an informed and engaged global community. Climate change refers to the long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. These shifts can be natural, but since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change. The culprit? Greenhouse gases. Imagine our atmosphere as a giant blanket wrapped around Earth. This blanket is made up of different gases, some of which trap heat from the sun. These heat-trapping gases are called greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is the most significant greenhouse gas released by human activities. We produce CO2 primarily by burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas for energy. Think about cars, trucks, planes, factories, and power plants. These activities release massive amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere, thickening the blanket and trapping more heat. The Industrial Revolution, which began in the late 1700s, marked a turning point in human history. It was a period characterized by a shift from agrarian economies to industrial powerhouses, fundamentally altering the way people lived and worked, and our relationship with the planet. The natural landscapes that had existed for millennia began to transform into industrial hubs, forever changing the face of the Earth. It was a time of incredible innovation and progress. But it also ushered in an era of unprecedented fossil fuel consumption. The demand for coal and oil skyrocketed as industries expanded. Factories sprang up, powered by coal, and these factories became the backbone of the new industrial economy. Steam engines drove trains and ships fueled by oil, revolutionizing transportation and trade. As we produced more, we consumed more, and our reliance on fossil fuels grew exponentially. This cycle of production and consumption became a hallmark of modern society. This surge in fossil fuel use had a direct impact on the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere, leading to significant environmental changes. Before the Industrial Revolution, CO2 levels had remained relatively stable for thousands of years, maintaining a delicate balance in the Earth's atmosphere. However, from the late 1800s onwards, CO2 levels started to climb, driven by the relentless burning of fossil fuels, and they have been rising ever since. This continuous increase poses a significant threat to our environment and climate. Today, CO2 levels are higher than they have been in at least 800,000 years, a stark reminder of the impact of human activity. This dramatic increase in greenhouse gases is directly linked to the warming of our planet, leading to melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and more extreme weather patterns.
Check one, check two, check.
Why does it matter? Impacts on our planet and our lives. Climate change is a pressing issue that affects every aspect of our existence, from the air we breathe to the food we eat. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a global crisis that threatens the well-being of all living creatures, including ourselves. The delicate balance of our ecosystems is being disrupted, leading to unforeseen consequences. The impacts of climate change are already being felt around the world, and they are becoming increasingly severe. From shifting weather patterns to more extreme weather events, the evidence is undeniable. Rising global temperatures are causing glaciers and ice caps to melt at an alarming rate, contributing to rising sea levels. This not only threatens coastal areas, but also affects global weather patterns. Coastal communities are facing the threat of displacement, while island nations are at risk of disappearing entirely. The homes and livelihoods of millions are at stake. Extreme weather events, such as hurricanes, droughts, and wildfires, are becoming more frequent and intense, causing widespread devastation and loss of life. These events are not isolated incidents, but part of a growing trend. Changes in weather patterns are disrupting agricultural cycles, threatening food security for millions. Farmers are struggling to adapt to the new realities, and crop failures are becoming more common. Climate change is also exacerbating existing social and economic inequalities, disproportionately affecting vulnerable communities and those least responsible for the crisis. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening. The consequences of inaction are dire, demanding our immediate attention and collective action. We must come together to combat this crisis and protect our planet for future generations.
Check, check, check one, check two, check, check.
Beyond the myths addressing common misconceptions, in this section we will delve into some of the most common myths and misunderstandings about climate change and provide clarity on these important issues. Despite the overwhelming scientific consensus on climate change, there are still misconceptions and skepticism surrounding the issue. These misconceptions can hinder progress and create confusion about the reality and urgency of the situation. One common myth is that climate change is a natural cycle, unrelated to human activities. This belief overlooks the significant impact that human activities, such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation, have on accelerating climate change. While it is true that Earth's climate has changed naturally throughout its history, the current warming trend is occurring at an unprecedented rate, far exceeding any natural fluctuations observed in the past. This rapid change is largely driven by human activities. Another misconception is that individual actions are insignificant in the face of such a global challenge. This belief can lead to a sense of helplessness and inaction. While it is true that systemic change is essential, individual choices can make a difference. Small, everyday actions, when multiplied by millions of people, can lead to significant positive outcomes. Every effort to reduce our carbon footprint, no matter how small, contributes to a larger collective impact. These small actions add up and can drive broader societal changes. By embracing sustainable practices, we not only reduce our own environmental impact, but also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can lead to meaningful change. Together, our collective efforts can make a substantial difference in combating climate change.
Check, check, check one, check two, check.
Turning the tide solutions for a sustainable future. The challenges posed by climate change may seem daunting, but there is hope. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the resources to transition to a more sustainable future. One of the most critical solutions is to shift away from fossil fuels and embrace renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower. Investing in renewable energy infrastructure creates jobs, reduces our dependence on fossil fuels, and lowers greenhouse gas emissions. Improving energy efficiency is another crucial step. By using energy more efficiently in our homes, businesses, and transportation systems, we can reduce our overall energy consumption and lower our carbon footprint. Simple changes like switching to energy-efficient appliances, using public transport, and reducing our reliance on cars can make a significant difference. Our time to act, embracing a brighter tomorrow. The time for debate is over, the time for action is now. Climate change is not a distant threat, it is a present reality that demands our immediate attention. We have a responsibility to ourselves, to future generations, and to the countless species that share our planet to act decisively and turn the tide against this global crisis. The future is in our hands. By embracing sustainable practices, advocating for policy changes, and inspiring others to join the movement, we can create a world where both people and nature can thrive. Let us act with urgency, with purpose, and with the knowledge that together we can make a difference. The journey towards a sustainable future begins with a single step. Let's take that step together today.